Hey guys, I'm super excited. I have Karen Stone, who is amazing in the world of video marketing, producing and editing. Her and I have been in a lot of conversations over the last couple of years, and I've been begging her to come on to share with you guys how to get off the fence with your first 10 or 15 videos. She has worked with real estate agents, created scripting for them, gone into their marketplaces, did producing, editing, helped them get their first videos off. And she's got a great course on how to, really kind of get past the basics of the resistance of video. So we're going to find out all about what it's going to take for you guys to do more video in the next couple of months. So Karen, thank you so much. And let's just start with the basics, which is, what do you think is stopping agents from kind of getting those first couple of videos done? Where do they get hung up on? We all know there's some mindset issues there. Kind of what are some of the ones that we just know for sure are getting in the way?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me today. I'm thrilled to be here with you. When it comes to video, I think that confidence is the key thing. It's confidence and it's content. So I don't like how I look. I don't like how I sound. I feel like an imposter. I shouldn't be doing this because nobody's going to listen to me. I'm not a name that agent, Gary V, whoever he may be. I'm not that guy, that girl, and I never will be. So I'm not even going to start.
Yeah. That sounds all check.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. Right.
Yeah.
So there's all that going on in their head. And then when they go to do the thing, because their coach or Tom or someone is telling them this is going to be this ticket to success, they're frozen right inside.
Yes. Yes.
So
inside and technologically speaking. Yes.
Yeah. And maybe we'll get to some tech in a minute.
Yeah.
So how have you kind of helped coach and support people past this process, right? I know you've created a course on kind of walking people through this. So what are some of those core things that you're teaching to help people get through this discomfort? Because a lot of people have it.
Yeah. I think one of the key things that I'm constantly reminding people of is, like, when you go out with your clients, you look like you sound like you. So you can't expect me to sound like somebody with like this Southern accent, right? So I can't pretend to be somebody else. So it's truly embracing who you are and having in your head that whatever I have to say, somebody needs to hear it. Somebody needs to hear it, whether it's one person, that might be your mom, or like 10 people, or you get 60,000 views. Somebody will find it helpful. So it's reminding yourself and kind of coaching yourself through that. One of my key tactics is finding the alter ego. Who am I channeling when I'm on camera? For instance, I'm a very different person on stage than I am with my clients, right? Like, who am I channeling? For me, it's Mrs. Maisel, the marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She's my comedy alter ego, right? So when I go on stage, I I don't want to say the words here, but like the coach says, chest out basically, and go do it. And so that's what I channel when I get on camera.
Nice. I like that. I do have the alter ego book up on the shelf, guys. That was a great
book. Yeah.
Great presentation. So pick that up if you need it.
Yeah.
But I think for me, that first part of, and I've said this to my clients too, that just you being you when you are with clients, that works. So how about you just, kind of own up to the fact that, the way that you present yourself works, and the right clients will be attracted to that, we're really not trying to attract the entire world to be your client. We're attracting more great people that know you, like you, for exactly who you are and the way that you do the thing that you do, and they're cool with it. So there's something about that messaging that's so important for these guys to connect with.
Yeah.
So
and once they can get over that and embrace it, then like the world is your oyster.
Yes. True. Right.
Yeah.
What else do you think, for those agents who really just have resisted kind of the short versus the long form, how do you help people deal with the difference between short and long form? Is there any advice around those two categories?
I mean, short form, I like to think as it has a very short shelf life. Oftentimes, you've got to be more worried about what is that title in the middle and what is the song that's trending, just to get into the algorithm. So you're almost like creating it for the algorithm, which is hard to do, right? Like, that's not something that's easy to do. It takes a lot of testing. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of scrolling of just, hey, what songs are trending? Like, how do I do this? Doing a lot of research, versus long form that to me feels more, in certain ways, it's more evergreen. So I don't have to think so much about like, is the music okay? What is the background? Like, I have more time to think about the aesthetics of the shoot, versus like hey, it's just me in front of a camera and I just have to make sure that I have enough trending music and people are going to see it. Right. But you've got to do both. There's the importance of doing both. And in some ways, I get way more views on my short form stuff than I do on my long form that I spend a lot of money on.
Yep. No.
Right.
Yeah. And I think in a lot of people in the long form are used to and comfortable with some pauses and some thought. I was actually just watching a YouTube video and the gal kind of took a really long pause because she was just trying to collect her thoughts. And that was perfectly okay, because it was actually a really important part of the journey in this video. And I was very appreciative of what she was teaching me in her education. So it was perfectly okay. That pause was fine.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot more forgiveness in that category versus the short form. There's not a lot of forgiveness there, unless it's fun.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that gets back to the point, like you said, the pauses, the ums, I might stutter over my words in camera, in video, like I just did. Like, people are forgiving. They want to see you. They know, like, they stutter, you would never know this, but when I was young, I used to stutter and I used to laugh when I got nervous.
Yeah.
And now I stand up on stage and I tell jokes. So, like, you evolve, and people just, they want to see that you're human.
Yeah, agreed. And I tell people that I was painfully shy in my late teens and early 20s. Like, they're like, no way. I'm like, absolutely. Yeah. Painfully shy. And, so this is all a learned skill over time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's jump into some preparation, right? Some, and I would say some content and scripting preparation. Do you have any kind of best practices for those guys out there? Because I think there's a, kind of confidence, is there's also some competence, right? Like, that I'm really comfortable with my content.
Yeah.
What are some best practices for these guys on prepping some scripting, presenting scripting? Like, what are you telling everybody right now?
Well, I think right now we're kind of trained, and we as humans, we take in the headlines, right? Like, we read the article that has the best headline. So in my opinion, it doesn't always matter what's on the inside. It matters what's at the front end. Agreed. If literally the headline is "the market is crashing," asterisk, but here's what's really going on. It's "the market is crashing," that people are going to watch that video.
Yes.
So it's utilizing the tools that we've been trained to use, whether it's Jarvis or utilizing another tool to write. It's getting the proper headline, right? Then it's obviously, what are you going to send them to? What's the call to action? What are you looking for them to do? Are you looking for followers? Are you looking for them to go to your site? Are you looking for them to interact? So it's really thinking about what the output, what the overall goal of the video is. Yes. And then I think from a content standpoint, it's like, it's speaking about what you know, right? Like, whether you know it because you've said it 1,000 times, or you've read Google, or, Tom said something and you're just regurgitating it. It's internalizing it. The more you internalize it, the better you're going to sound, the less scripted you're going to sound.
I've been telling some people, like, hey, two things. Maybe let's talk about some apps next, but like teleprompter, because I have a couple personality types that are very thoughtful, really good writers, but that thoughtfulness in the way that they write would be very difficult to translate without the teleprompter. So I've had some really good success with my good writers, people that are really thoughtful and a little bit more cerebral. But then for my a little bit more kind of expressive, off the cuff people, I'm like, you just need your bullet points.
Yeah.
Right. And so any kind of advice around either tech or kind of scripting, like physical scripting, like how they're doing it, right? Like, I will show people my notes and I'll be like, guys, I got 10 things, and I wrote down 10 things right here on this piece of paper that I'm going to present to you guys today in this video. And I will look at the one and I'll say the point and I'll talk a little bit about the point. Like, but people are like, wait, you can do that? I'm like, yeah. Like, what? Who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or the points are on my screen and I'm presenting into my webcam, and I'm like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But like, so what are some, now obviously I'd love it if we were all significantly better at this, but what are some of your kind of best practices dealing with some of this early phase where they're already uncomfortable, they're already awkward? What the hell do we do here?
I love the teleprompter. I actually just did a workshop last week where I literally had the agents download the teleprompter app. I told them to write their own script with some bullet points. And then I just had them practice it, right? Like, practice the timing of it, practice the flow, change around the period. And, when, like, they're going to learn when they breathe and how they breathe, etc. I'm all for it. I do think that with practice, eventually you will get to the point where you can be like you and me, where we can look at the bullet point and we can just read it. I think what's really helpful actually is that short form, when you know that you only have 60 seconds. I told them, I think every 75 words is 30 seconds. I know this because I was in BNI when for 11 years, and I always had to make sure that I got in everything I needed to say. But that took practice. That was years of practice where I'm like, that's 30 seconds. That's all the words that I have. So for the expressive like me, if you said, Karen, you've got 60 seconds, trust me, I could get 60 seconds in.
Yeah.
So it's just the practice, right? It's just doing it over and over. But I'm all about teleprompters. Actually bought a teleprompter that goes onto a camera. So if you hire a videographer, you can bring this equipment with you, get the little clicker to go along with it. You can even get a, because I was shooting a lot of my own video and I want to be able to see myself. I got all the tech stuff, but it's the videographer's job to set it all up. And then I just kind of start flowing with it. And I think something that's important to know is when an editor looks at our content, they actually don't mind it if you mess up. They do mind it if you constantly start and stop the video, right? So just shoot it all in one take, however long it takes. Scroll, 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 re-say it, scroll, re-say it, whatever you need to do, and then give that over to an editor. But don't feel like you have, like we're not dealing with like film, like black and white film, right? We're dealing with digital assets that can be edited.
Yeah. It's kind of like one long stream of thought. Yeah.
Exactly.
Even for me, I've learned how to edit. And I think people, once I understood how easy it is to actually kind of edit out some of my mistakes and kind of piece a good logical flow together, I was like, oh, okay, like this is not that hard. So then it actually made me a better presenter for an editor, because I knew how to kind of do all right, I'm gonna do that one over. Let's start here, and I pause and I just went back and I would say it, right? And then it's fine.
Yeah. But I think the person starting out thinks they have to get like on the news, right? Like they have one shot, like one take, right? We don't.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. I think for everybody out there, some of the editing software, it's like you can easily go in there and remove some of your ums, your ahs, your big pauses, your mistakes. It's actually pretty darn easy once I learned it. But it took me a little bit to learn it, right? So I think this teleprompter app is kind of my new recommendation for a lot of my people who are really struggling. So I love the way that you frame that. I just want to put a massive stamp on it. Like, guys, get the teleprompter app, practice exactly how she said it, practice it a bunch of times, get your cadence, get your kind of flow down with it, and then the world is your oyster. I really believe that. So I really like the way you said that. Anything else in kind of the tool technology? I think a lot of my clients will over obsess about tech, and then they'll start kind of buying and researching, and then they won't ever shoot a video because they're still kind of screwing around with everything for like 60 days. And I'm like, yo, like go look at my videos from the start. Like it was like a terrible webcam, really bad lighting, terrible audio. I just did it anyways. So where's that, what's your advice in this kind of like for these beginning people who are kind of really just getting in the game? What's your tech advice here?
So I just actually was reading online a question yesterday from somebody who's like, I shoot for horizontal and for vertical, and I don't know which one to do and how to get it because I compromise the quality. And and he happens to be in the television world, right? So he's got the tools most likely. But for the average person, what I tell people is use the tool that you've got, which is usually this. I have all the gadgets and gizmos. I never use them anymore. I travel the world with this because the quality is amazing. And my thought is use your phone, use the thing that you're going to be able to use the easiest. For instance, I don't use a real camera because the process of getting the footage from there to my computer to my phone to post, too many steps. Right? Same. Too many steps, but I can do it all from here. So I film everything in my regular camera app. I never film anything in Instagram or in Facebook. I don't personally use a filter. Like, this is how I look. This is what you're going to get. This is what I want my videos to look like. That's me personally. But shoot it horizontally, shoot it vertically. If you have the ability to shoot both at the same time, or if you just have to do it 2 takes, do it 2 takes. But as I told the gentleman who posted about like, I don't know what to do, or horizontal, vertical, he goes, it compromises the quality. I said, you know what? Some of the best performing videos are people like this, just like on the fly. They don't expect it to be perfect, well lit and everything. They want the human concept, and content. So don't overthink it. These devices have so many skills, right? Like they've got lighting, you can adjust it with certain filters on its own. So that's my tool. I have a little selfie stick tripod that I bring with me to open houses, pop the thing up. I have a little lapel microphone because I know I'm not going to be good at keeping that thing charged. So I keep that in my bag, and that's my studio.
Nice. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I do all mine just in my little office here. And so I just, webcam, cheap, little lighting, fake wallpaper.
I love it.
It's like bookshelf, we're going, let's do that.
Yeah.
But you're right, because that cam goes right into my computer. So I record this right now. We're on Zoom. It's so easy. Zoom, just hit the record button on my computer. Zoom breaks it into a couple files. I just take it out there and I can screw around with it. It's just, so guys, the tech is there. It's super easy. Do not over elaborate until you kind of get down the road. I didn't buy my first thing for my stuff until like 20 videos in.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I still think like, and again, I've traveled the country shooting for agents,
Right.
and sometimes I need that quality. Like for an agent
Sure.
profile video, you need that quality. I have the thought in my head of what it should look like. But now, like I was shooting a few videos a few weeks ago, and I thought, well, why not? I'm running an open house. Let me just lift this thing up. I know I'm going to add B-roll to it. And I mean, I will go around town and I do shoot in 4K at 60 frames per second. So it's good enough quality. So that way I can just save it to my camera, upload it to a Google Drive, and an editor can use that footage.
Right.
So I'm capturing my own B-roll too. Like
Nice.
I used to say, I need somebody to do it and I need the drone and I need it to be cool. But no, you don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you don't, and not everybody's got the budget for it. So
Sure.
you really can DIY it.
Any advice on that topic of kind of editors, the Fiverr, there's a bunch of different editing services that have started to show up that I've been looking at, B-roll, music, services in this topic. What's some of your basic advice for some of the, again, people who are just getting started, or maybe some kind of people like me where I'm ready to kind of make that next decision about leveling up the quality. So kind of in this first two phases, what are some of your best advice out there for these guys?
So I love the website productionhub.com. I've gone on that site in so many different states, and I basically put in like what my budget is, what the job is. I don't have to hire somebody full time. I actually did my entire course. I connected with the videographer 2 days before I shot it. Nice. I think I paid $5,000 for the entire thing.
Wow.
Like 20 plus videos and all the editing for $5,000. Done, right? Like, and I was like freaking Oprah. The lights were on me, the screens, the monitors, all of it. So that I think is a really good one if you're just like kind of, I only want to shoot once a month and I want somebody good. So I love that site. I just shot with somebody in Sacramento and the videographer came from San Francisco. Like you just never know. And you can find anything there, drones, editors. I mean, you name it, you find it there. I use Fiverr a lot as well for editing. I found a few in completely random countries that I like that do the job that I need them to do. It does help if you have some examples of what you want it to look like, what the finished product should look like. That makes it so much easier. Yeah,
I would say, I think let's touch that for a hot second. Best advice for going to a low cost type of environment like a Fiverr.com. What's, especially for some of these guys who are a little bit newer to the game, kind of rookie in this game, any other advice, having an example, what else do you recommend for them? Because I know I've had a rough experience kind of in my early phase because I didn't know what to give them. I was just like, I shot a bunch of stuff. Could you make it great? Yeah. And I was like, and I got it back. I'm like, no, that was not good.
Right. And I think that's like, I think Tom talks about this, like send the footage to a few different editors and just see the one that does the job in the way that you want them to. Right. And I've got a few editors that have literally done it for free. And then I tell them like, I'm going to be sending you more content over time. Like, let's do this first one and let's test it out. But I will say the questions to ask is, do you have access to B-roll? Right? Am I going to have to pay for it? Can you pull it, or do you need me to pull it? Because obviously all that takes time and money. If you have a script, give them the script. Tell them if you want titles, tell them what words to to like put in bold. Tell them if you want interesting animations or interesting what's the word called? Transitions. Sorry. Yes. Like pinpoint those things. Let them know where you're putting it so that, like, for instance, I had one editor who put all the titles at the bottom and I'm like, that's where the captions need to go. Like, you got to move it up. So tell them those things. And again, if you have examples, like send them the examples. Yeah.
That's key. Yeah. Everything you said is exactly what I learned. I was like, oh, wow, I need to give them better, more clear instructions with the examples, and then you'd have a better experience. Right. The scripting, it was like titles and chapters, just kind of broke it down a little bit. And so that they can get a better experience of it. One of my good clients, he's like a young kind of hit producer, goes to events and captures stuff and does cool videos and gets paid lots of money. And he told me about, I think it's like the Editor's Connection or something like that.com. And for like one time for $179, you can get one video done. But the thing that he said that I thought was cool was he was like, they use this, there's a technology, I think it's called like something like iframes or something like that, where the editor will put the video together, send it to you, and then you can be watching, you can like pinpoint at a thing and say, put something here, put like a note there. And so you can kind of go through their thing and put notes or add a file and say, put this here. And then you send it back to them and it's like kind of all in the cloud or something. Anyways, I think that I was like, whoa, I really can't wait to see that, because I think that kind of interaction would make 1,000 times better experience, right? Like, hey, put this image in here for like 5 seconds as I'm saying that, or add this video for B-roll here, or put the title there.
Yeah.
Because that's
I've
a more
used
visually
editors.
compelling experience as opposed to like what I did with Fiverr is like I wrote it out in this long, elaborate document and sent it to them, and it still came back kind of shitty.
Yeah, time stamped and everything. It's hard. That I used a service. Am I allowed to mention services?
Sure.
Okay, so it's called Social Paragon. I actually, they're actually based in Salt Lake City, very randomly that I live in Park City, but they're one of those subscription services. It's like a set rate for the month. If anybody's looking at those, like they made total sense. I was shooting way more video than what they were able to edit in the amount of time, but they like basically guaranteed 4 videos a month for about $400. And that included 1 hour of them coming out and shooting video.
Oh, wow. That's
so amazing. Like it was really good, but I ended up like, you can't edit this fast enough, right? And I'm shooting way more than I need than you can do. But I just kind of started to keep paying and paying and paying. And eventually I had like 8 hours of shooting time.
Yeah.
And I had already paid for it, right? Yeah. So I would say like for anybody who's looking for if they're batching everything, it's challenging to shoot. They can't edit fast enough, basically. Yeah. Or they might, you have to see what you're editing, like what you need edited.
Yeah, so some good technology out there for you guys. Cool. Well, this has been super helpful. Is there any kind of final, tell us a little bit about the course. Tell us, what the cost is. I'll put a link down to them for people to get access to it. But, give us a little bit on the breakdown of the course, because I know a bunch of people need that help right now. So you guys need to do something about this.
So I made this course for the beginner, and a beginner, not just like in the beginning of your career, or if you're just afraid of doing being on camera, it's for that person who maybe that you need to shoot, but you don't know how to hire, or maybe that you need to shoot, but you don't know how to pull the content, or you've got all the content, but you don't know how to find the person to distribute it, right? So I go through the 5 C's. So the first one is confidence. So I want you to find your confidence on camera. Then I go through the overall strategy. I forgot what it is off the top of my head, but we go through the overall strategy, how to strategize your video content. So if I live in a second home market, I'm certainly not creating content for the first time home buyer, right? So just how to come up with that. Then I go through content, where to find the content, how to write a script, and that alone is like, there's a lot of content there. Then I go into, how you're going to actually shoot it. So if you're going to DIY, video and editing versus hiring, here's a questionnaire of things to ask a videographer. Here's what to ask the editor. And then I go into actual distribution. So here's how to create the thumbnail. Here's how to get the subtitles. I like all of the tools that I've used to help me get from like, I don't want to be on camera to now I'm on YouTube and I'm a celebrity.
Yes. Yeah. Very nice.
And it's called Real Estate Video Marketing 101. It is $500, but I will offer $100 off, and I'll make sure that you get the code for that.
Cool. Perfect. So guys, $400, that's a no-brainer. I mean, I think the amount of, and I don't need to say this in a salesy way, but the amount of money that, man, has been wasted in the last 6 months that I've been trying to get people to do these videos that I want them to do, we've already lost, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So guys, we, sign up for the program, get your confidence, get your swagger, get your content organized so that we can get you guys the results that you need here in 2022 and in 2023. And this is not going away, right?
No.
And as we saw, you and I were just at the Success Summit. I mean, the cat is out of the bag on the YouTube SEO strategy. It is making hand over fist money. And so guys, this is inescapable, right?
Yeah.
Right. And, Reels are blowing it up. TikTok's not going away. So it is inescapable. We all need to get more confident and more comfortable with our video and our script writing and our producing and in our editing and our workflows. And I don't want to talk to you guys about any of those details. You need to just sign up for Karen's course so I can help you with all the rest of the stuff. Cool. Any final words, Karen?
Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah, that really is. I mean, and I will say that it really is like you get 1% better every time. Your first one's gonna be terrible. You're gonna be uncomfortable. All the tech's gonna fall apart. You're gonna be frustrated, and that's just part of the journey, right? Yeah. I think I'm on YouTube video number like 220 or something, and I was horrible in the beginning. And I just got a little bit better. Who cares? And no one sees you in the beginning, anyways. So don't worry.
And the reality, Patrick, is like they're seeing it for all of like 30 seconds. Like it's not like this content. I'll tell you, like one video, and again, like let's remind them that they don't have to be in every video. I live in Park City, Salt Lake City International Airport is a pain in the butt to get through. I made a video while I was walking through the airport because I think you should always have your phone with you. And if you train yourself to think like, is this content? Then you will shoot it. So I shot the video. I recorded like this, this very dramatic like story about how to get through the airport on TikTok. I have 9 videos on TikTok. 9. Nice. I have 60,000 views of that video.
Yeah.
And I'm not even on it. It's my voice, but I'm not even in it, right? So like you never know what's content. So don't think you've got to be on it every time and have all the latest gadgets and gizmos. Just go with what you've got.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And it's fun. I mean, I know I enjoy it today.
Yeah.
200 videos later. I didn't at the beginning, and that's okay. Right.
Yeah.
Karen, you're the best. Put the links down to I'll put the links down to everything down below, and then we'll connect with you very soon because we'll do a second round. All right, guys, have an awesome second half to this year, and then jump onto anything else down below in the description. See ya.